What's up everyone, Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today we're going to be taking you on an adventure. As you can see, it's a snowy New Hampshire day, and we're going to be wandering through the woods, really in a section I've never been before. And in the process, we're going to talk to you about the Justifier Knives Valor Bush Knife. So we'll test this out, we'll talk about it, we'll give you some specs, we'll go on a little adventure here, and we'll eventually head back to my bushcraft camp, and we will start a fire there so you can see how this knife works. All right, let's head into the woods. So we're going into an area in the woods here that I've really never been before. There's over 100 acres that friends of ours own, and a lot of it they don't ever go into and no one ever goes into. So we're gonna wander off into the woods here and see what we can find. I don't know if you guys ever think about this, but I'm looking at this boulder field with this huge tree that's growing right out of the middle of it. And you ever wonder about that? Like, no one else on the planet may ever see the spot that you're in the woods. It's just crazy to think about. Let me give you some of the specs here on this knife. So it's 9 1/4 inches from end to end. It has a high convex grind with a secondary convex edge. You can get it in 3/16 of an inch or 1/4 inch, and it's made of 01 tool steel. Beautiful knife. Let me just show you the liners real quick. You can see those red liners there. Beautiful. Got some snow on it, but that's all right. Here's a quick look at the sheath. You can see I've got the dangler here connected to my belt. So nice free range movement there. It's not getting caught up on your leg when you lift or anything like that. You can see we've got the fire steel connected right there. It's got a bungee cord, so that'll keep it in place. Liner, same. Liner is red, or maroon, I guess, really. Same as the knife. Made of Kydex, locks in nice and secure. And yeah, I don't use danglers a ton, but I definitely have liked it a lot with this knife. A little steep here, a little dangerous, but we're gonna try to film it as we head down the cliff. Probably doesn't look as steep as it is in real life on camera here, but it's steep. A lot of you guys know I like to go to birch and birch bark to get my fire started, but just to show you that this knife is going to work well, if you need to get some very fine feathers going, we got some, I think it's some maple here. Got some beavers downed in the area. Oh yeah, come on. You know a knife is really sharp when you actually have to kind of fight against it biting in to the wood too much. So let me go on this side a little bit here too. Yeah, but that thing just comes razor sharp. And this thing is, yeah, definitely gonna get the job done when it comes to getting some very small, thin pieces of wood. You need to get your fire started. Just flip this over and try it on this side as well. Let me just show you real quick. So that's what that looks like. So this thing, it's like the knife was talking to me saying, no, use me for more serious cutting. This is too easy. As you can see, the knife works really well. I did this in about 10 minutes, and I'm just playing, obviously. So that's from Beaver, and out there somewhere is their home. In New England, almost no matter where you go, you're gonna end up running into these stone walls that have been here for generations and generations. It's kind of a cool straightaway here. It's like a little sanctuary in the middle of the woods. What I'm going to do now is actually put a small blaze on this tree, and I've never seen anybody really do this in a video, So just for kicks, I'm walking in a portion of this woods that I've never been before. And so let's say I was like, I'm not totally sure if I'm gonna remember how to get back. Well, putting a small blaze on a tree, especially if it's property where you know someone you're allowed to do it, is a good idea. And especially if you're lost in a survival situation, that's a great way to mark your path or let people know that you've been in this area. All right, so there you have it. That's didn't take very long to do, but that's a way to mark your path. You know, if you're coming this way, you want to put one on the other side so you know where you came from and where you're going to. But easy to do. Definitely want to be careful with the point of this knife, just because as you're holding it with two hands, you could certainly stab yourself. That's extremely pointy. I did do a bit of stabbing there to pry out some of that bark. It's not a knife that I would say is going to be. I wouldn't recommend that you're doing a ton of stabbing and prying with it. It's a bush camp knife. It's a bushcraft knife. So it's not really built for that, even though it is tool steel. But it did hold up. No issues, no bending, no chips, nothing like that. And there's your blaze. Let's keep going. Check this out. So there's our main pond out there, and here's kind of a swampy area. You can tell that this is water underneath because there's nothing really growing. It's just, you can see the trees down in it. And you might step on it at the edge here like I am and go, oh, it's not too bad. I'll just walk across it. But I just stepped on it here. Watching me step on this ice, how deep it gets, how quickly. Ready? I'm definitely in about 1.5 feet right now. So man, if I went out there halfway and then went in to drink, I could be up to my knees. I probably wouldn't drown, but that is gonna be cold, and I'm gonna have a situation that I gotta deal with really quick. So I'll be heading around that way to jump across a less wide portion of this little inlet. One thing when you're out in the woods in a survival situation, bushcrafting, whatever it is in the woods, just general awareness is a huge deal. So I'm going around the pond. I'm about probably 3/4 of the way around. But let's say right now it's time to start thinking about a shelter. Well, look at this huge thing behind me. That is the base of a massive tree that has fallen. Now this side, if you look down at the ground, that's all snowy and wet. But let me show you the other side real quick behind me. You can see that huge, let me see if I can show you right here, this huge trunk to the tree, right? So not maybe right behind it, but further up this way, like that way, where I'm pointing on the tree. That's a strong, sturdy tree. And if I just put some sort of, lean-to even on one side of it and built the fire on the other side, now I've got something that's going to keep my heat in. Put some boughs on the ground, and I've got not a perfect situation, but definitely a better situation than being out in the elements all night. If you put branches down on both sides and then fill it up with boughs and leaves and things like that, it's really a feasible shelter that can get you through the night, even when it's freezing cold. So yeah, just that awareness thing. You might see this at first and go, yeah, but it's all wet down there. But you take a look on the other side, you got a good option for building a shelter, and that eliminates other work and therefore calorie expenditure that you'd have to, find a ridge pole and set it up and all that stuff. So just, again, awareness, huge deal when you're out in the woods. I love when I find a huge tree, like that's just been there for probably, 150 years, 200 years, just totally massive. So this big oak behind me, I'm just gonna go to the backside and hug it just so you can see how far it is, how big it is around, because my hands are not gonna even touch. I just saw this and was like, wow, what a beast. Check this out. Just awesome. Imagine the stories that thing could tell. Woo! All right, let's keep going. Very wet out today, but we're gonna get some of this birch bark, see if we can get things going. And we'll show you the fire steel that comes with this knife as well. Everything is just soaking wet. It's been raining, it's been snowing, so a lot of moisture here in New Hampshire right now. But birch bark has always proven itself faithful, so let's see what we can do here. All right, we got a little pile of some shavings there. Got some extra bark, birch bark. Okay, we got a little pile of shavings there. Have a little extra birch bark ready to go once that gets started. And I don't know if we need to scrape that coating off. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like a little bit, but that's all right. Oh, I missed, but it's already catching. Look at that. Faithful birch bark. And there you go. I'm going to roll in some footage here of me batoning with a knife. It held up great. As you would expect, it's not going to baton anything that's massive, but if you need to get into some of that inner wood that's going to be dry, you know, after a heavy rainstorm or something like that, it's certainly going to work quite well doing that. That being said, we've had an adventure out here in the woods together. You've seen some of the New Hampshire woods that probably nobody else has ever seen before, on video at least. And I've never seen portions of these woods that I'm in that you saw today with me. So a couple thoughts. Overall, I really like the sheath system, the dangler. I like the ferro rod. I love the overall look of the knife. I just think it's a beautiful, beautiful knife. I like the fact that you've got the liners in the knife, and that matches with the liner in the ferro rod as well. It got a fire started with it. I was able to do a little prying with it, not super aggressive, but it did work. It made feather sticks beautifully. Like I said, it was cutting so well, you could feel that it wanted to dig in even deeper, so you had to really focus on controlling the knife as you used it. Now, these knives are custom made, and so it's going to run you a little bit more as far as your cost. In general, any of the knives from Justifier Knives are going to run you a little bit more in cost than, you know, something that's produced in a big factory. But it's custom made. It's made with a lot of precision. I'll put a link down below to the website that he's selling them through, and you can click on that and head over there if you're interested in looking at not just this knife, but the other knives that he's got out and that he's selling. Overall, if you want a custom made knife, you want to support a guy who's working hard and putting out some great products, I would definitely encourage you to check out Justifier Knives. This knife has been excellent so far. I think if you take this knife and combine it with something like a hatchet or maybe an axe or a folding saw, you've got a nice setup to get out in the woods and work on bushcrafting skills, survival, camping, just being in the outdoors. Once again, this is the Valor Bush Knife from Justifier Knives. Thanks for checking out our video. And do me a favor, head over to Justifier Knives on Facebook or Instagram and let them know that you heard about our video here on Everyday Tactical Vids. Thanks for checking out the video. Please subscribe, click that little red button if you haven't done so already, and more videos coming soon. Take care.